Alright boys, let's get this day started off right. Get it started off with a Powerstoke cold start. Or as cold as you can get from Florida. Ooh! I like that a lot. That's what it sounds like in my back. Oh yeah, not much better than that. Okay, today is gonna be a good day. We're gonna get a lot of work done today. I think the main goal for today, well, number one, we gotta run some errands. I need to pick up a new intake elbow gasket because I wanna pull that off today and get that Cerecoated. Also, I do not like the Cerecoat job I did on the hot side charge piping. Kind of goes without saying, it was my first time, so not really the best quality that you can get. So we're going to yank that off. We need to sandblast that guy again, get him cleaned up, ready to go, and then we'll get those two pieces Cerecoated and give them some time to dry. But we're going to hop into going and running some errands. I just got to stop by AutoZone. I need to get more degreaser. So don't let me forget when I go there, because I forgot last time. Need some more degreaser. Need to get that intake gasket. And I think that's about it. Then we can come back and get to work after the truck cools down a little bit. So let's hop into the truck. Let's go do some driving, and we'll get to work. I absolutely love the way a 6.0 sounds. Some people don't like it. I get it, to each their own, man, but there's just something about HUE injection that just hits you down in the soul. I kind of wish that this truck sometimes had a jiggle stick in it, manual trans. That would be oh so nice. Check this out. Got my ears lowered today. I am losing my hair though, you can see that. I'm almost 30 years old. Alright, give me a break. Now we got that squared away. Let's get to AutoZone and or O'Reilly's, wherever's the closest, to see if we can get an intake plenum gasket for this truck. Because when I pull this off, the other one's 20 years old. I have a slight feeling that it's not going to be good anymore once I get rid of it or take it off. So, need a new one, and then we'll get to doing some freaking work. Sounds like a blast. We are back from our errands. Let me show you what I want to do today. So as you can see, I want to do this guy. I want to get this guy Cerecoated, get him all cleaned up and matching the charge pipe and the radiator support brackets. But here's our issue with the intercooler pipe. It doesn't look that crazy on camera, but like down here, I was a touch too impatient, and I also had the gun at like full flow of paint. So I want to get this guy sandblasted, and you can see up here too discoloration of where it was dripping, and then down on the bottom down here you have those splotchy areas, and it just not looking good. So my main objective right now is I want to get this guy taken back off. I also want to get the intake elbow taken off and Cerecoated as well, just so it matches everything and looks a little cleaner. And then in later videos we can focus on getting an air intake, a different intake, as well as Cerecoating the turbo housing the same color. But for now, I think that is my main goal, is want to take those guys off and get those bad boys Cerecoated so they look nice and clean, and take our time this time. Obviously, we know some more things now since we've done it before, but really take our time, make it perfect, and just be patient with the drying process, because it does take 5 days to fully cure, but it's dry to handle in like an hour or two. But I did not want to wait, and I messed it up because it was still a little wet, and it was a little too thick, so it wasn't dry like the radiator support brackets were. And it just doesn't have the same coloration as the radiator support brackets. It's supposed to have like a blue and gray color shift kind of deal to it, to make it look like blue titanium, obviously. So I think that's main objective for today, is get that off, get these guys sandblasted, and then get them sprayed out. I bet you guys have seen this. I bet you guys have seen this 1,000 times. We got the first one off, and here I'll show you what I mean. You see all the dripping and just absolute grossness. And on this side, it's just all boogered up from when I didn't take my time and I sprayed it too heavily. So we're gonna get this guy sandblasted, and then we're also gonna get this guy taken off, and we'll get him blasted as well. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I'm taking the air filter out real quick just so I have a little more play to get this guy out. But this guy hasn't been banged out in a minute, so might as well just take it off. It looks a touch dirty. My filter minder says this is still pretty good. Look at that. But it does filter very well. So there's a part number if anybody's looking for an OEM Motorcraft one. We loosen this clamp up, and then you take your pry bar, and there's a little engine hang mount right there, and you put this behind that, like this, behind the tube here, and then into that mount, and just push, just like that. Use your pry bar to get it loose off of this ring just a little bit, and when you put your pry bar on that little engine mount down there and pry just a little bit to get it off the lip of the intake plenum elbow here, then once it's off that lip a little bit, you just work your way to this side and pull with both hands, and off she comes. Make sure you loosen your clamp down here for the cold side intercooler piping. If not, you can crack and break the plastic, and then you have a boost leak, and that's no fun. Top of the plenum elbow here is 4 8mm nuts. There's an O-ring on the bottom that seals it to the intake manifold. Do not lose that. You will hate yourself. Also, little food for thought. Down on the front of the plenum, right behind this fan shroud that's broken, I guess. I didn't know that was broken. Maybe I just broke it. Now I gotta fix that. It wasn't broken before. I broke it. Either way, there is a nut or down on the a stud on the intake plenum elbow that you have to undo from your fan shroud. But mine already broke off, so it's not even there. There we go. That's all 4. And then, voila. Just like that, it's off. So obviously I just got done driving. It is still very hot, but that's your intake elbow, your OEM one. If you do want a part number, if you need one, there's the part number for this elbow. And there's that little O-ring I was talking about. Let's see, on the inside. So we need to get that guy taken out very carefully, because we don't want to lose that. That would suck. I went to AutoZone and Advanced Auto prior to this, and nobody had one. And it looks like there's still just enough life left on this. If I hold it up, we'll be good to go. But we need to get this guy cleaned up, this O-ring out of here, get it masked off where I don't want the Cerakote to be at. Mask off the bottom where the O-ring sits as well, because we don't want anything in there, and we want to keep this surface smooth. And then we can go ahead and sandblast everything else. But let's get this O-ring out, get this guy degreased, pressure washed, and then we'll get to sandblasting. I'm not going to show you sandblasting the charge pipe, only because you've seen me do it 3 times already, and I'm going to make it quick, but make it clean. So let's get this guy cleaned up. So this guy has been fully sandblasted. The easiest way that I've found to take off Cerakote is just sandblast it. It doesn't work very well in like a stripper tank, but there we are. So now we need to go and do the elbow. It's cooled down enough. Let's get that guy degreased, pressure washed, and put in the sandblaster. And we'll mask it, get it cleaned up, and be good to go. So here's after a degrease and pressure wash. Make sure you take that O-ring out the bottom. You don't want that thing going lost, so that's not gonna be a fun day. So we're gonna get this bad boy in the sandblaster. I'm gonna get him masked up so I don't really get anything on the inside for blast material wise. Definitely down here, I don't want that to be messed up. And this is after sandblasting. Got it all masked off where I need to. That's all the areas that I want to paint up. Now it looks bare metal, it's good to go. I'm gonna get it hung up, and then we gotta load up the spray gun with some Cerakote. And then we gotta let this dry for a couple hours, and it looks like it's gonna get dark before this is dry. So I'm gonna need to get this done quick. So these 2 guys that I got hung up outside right now are gonna go Cerekote C189 blue titanium. It is an air cure Cerakote. I said this in a past video. It does take 5 days to fully cure, but it only takes about 1.5 hours, 2 hours to be fully tack free. Alrighty, so we got them sprayed out, as you just saw. Now it's going to take probably 2 hours until they're tack free, and then I'm going to bring them in the garage and let them just sit in here so there's no bugs, no wind, no nothing. And hopefully, within the next couple hours, we can install it. I might leave the truck how it is until the morning, and then go reinstall it in the morning. Ultimately, it's just kind of how long is it going to take for it to be dry is kind of the big thing right now. So let's give it a little while. We'll check on it. And at the minimum, tonight, we can probably get the intake elbow installed and go from there. I don't want to mess with the charge pipe too much because it's a long piece. It takes a while to dry. So let's give it a little bit and we'll check back in here in a minute. Alright, well there's the finished look. I'm not impressed with the job quality that I did on this guy here. These turned out so far the best out of everything I've Cerakoted. Charge pipe turned out way better than it used to be, so that's a big plus. I think next thing on the agenda is probably get a metal charge pipe to get rid of this plastic one because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get on and off. And then maybe an intake. This is still a good option for anybody that's not wanting to push like crazy power, but I kind of want everything to match, so that's my reasoning for it, I guess. We are a little overdue for an engine bay cleaning, so we need to get that handled, but like I said, that's the finished look of everything so far. That's Cerecoted. And then, yeah, I'm going to move on to some bigger and better things. But everybody, I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video. I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. This was a fun time. It's all a learning process, so just, you know, take your time and learn along the way. And if you have to redo some stuff, whatever, you know, it's all part of the process. So thank you guys for sticking around. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I will see you guys in the next video.